Hello and welcome to Winter Disco Tabletop Gaming, and we're going to have a look at the Codex Space Marine. Codex. Hopefully not as salty as I was about the Crusade book on the Veil. I've just finished recording that, so that will be online now. Go have a look. I was so salty, so... yeah, I'm going to try not to be as salty in here, and I think that I've had a good look through this and had a good read. I'm not going to be as salty, so... There we go. No salt. Salt-free zone. There'll be a little bit of salt, but it'll be alright. So, yeah, I finally got a chance to open this. It's been super busy, but it's very pretty. It's, like, really thick when you compare it to the Necron book, which I haven't even looked at yet. Oh, let's bring it out. Look at that. It's a thick boy. Not as thick as the rule book, which is almost like 2 or 3 times as thick, but it's pretty thick. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm recording a whole bunch of stuff in bulk at the moment. So... voice is going a bit. So we have the cubby here. That ship right there. That's the one we need. We need that Thunderhawk. Very cool. I love the more grim dark, almost desperate. There's just like this desperation of fighting in a lot of the new art that's coming out, and I really do like it. And there's lots of purity seals and banners, and you know, I don't need to tell you about my banners. I love banners. So at the back here, shows off a whole bunch of the new models, all Primaris, of course. Yeah, so inside we're going to get a whole bunch of lore and background for all the Loyalist chapters and a few others. A whole bunch of models, data sheets, just so many things, like 100 or something, 96 I think, and then all different rules and things like that. So there's actually a lot of chunkiness in this. There's a lot of stuff to look through. All the creepy faces, which is kind of like in every book now. So very nice introduction about who the Adeptus Astartes are, which is a very famous quote. They should be my finest warriors, and they shall know no fear. That's like the quote. So you can see we have the, just checking the camera to make sure everything's in view. Very nice. The contents here, you know, about the Space Marines, and this is my favorite section. I'm very much a lore person. And you probably know that from a lot of the other videos. I don't play that much, particularly not this year. I think everyone's a bit like that. So I'm always about the lore. And then it goes into like a whole bunch of the rules. So many data sheets. We've got like 124 to 194. So what's that? 70 pages of data sheets. So there's a lot in there. And then war gear and some rules as well. But there is a lot of rules too. So very interesting rules, and I think it's overall the codex and how they're going to release supplements for the different chapters much more streamlined than what it has been previously. So let's just get into it. So this is the full artwork of the front cover. So of the Space Marines versus some of the Sons of Horus, or the Black Legion, whatever you want to call them, Lunar Wolves, who knows? They just change their names all the time. Yeah, and lots of Thunderhawks in there. Oh, give me a plastic Thunderhawk. I'd love that. Before I do, no, I'm going to have to go back because it's in here. Like I said, I'm loving the very grimdark, overwhelming woe, I think comes to mind. I really love it. Yeah, it's just very dark and creepy. And as usual, we go through how Space Marines created, because that's very, very important. And then about Primaris Space Marines. And all about the different chapters. Like just love this art. Very, like I keep saying, desperate. Like this guy's got a sword through his head and he's firing away. This guy's like smashing through things, fighting. It just seems very, very nice. And all the different shield and heraldry, which is very cool. I love the addition of this now. It's like a major part. And then basically the universe or the galaxy as it is, and different war zones. So we've got Bol with the what are they called? The Blood Angels. Fighting against like the High Fleet Leviathan, and there's some demons that have turned up. Very strange. Ultramar down in this area, down here with the Imperium Secundus, although it's not really called that anymore. It's called the Ultima Segmentum, but it's really, you know. It's there. Vigilus, which we've had 2 campaign books in, which absolutely loved. I really love those books. So much content and lore and background in there. And then the new war zone, which is Prior, which is down in... Down in here. very close, getting close to Terra, getting there. This is where a new Necron world is. And we can see it's actually really close to the Crimson Fists and Salamanders. So, you know, very close nearby. So it's always, I love just looking at this map and going, oh, what have we found here? Oh, there's Gore Golems. Who are the Gore Golems? Are they looks like they're an Imperial Fist successor. Oh, interesting. Never heard of them. Cool. I love looking at maps like this. Okay, and then about the chapter planets themselves, very important because it sort of sets up what the planets are like. They're all basically death planets, let's be honest. So it's pretty dark. And then chapter organization. And I spent a bit of time looking through this section because it's a big change from last edition in that now we have so many more Primaris units. It's made chapter organization a little problematic, particularly if you're an existing chapter and now you're getting Primaris units in. So we do get this page here, and it's sort of re-established things. So it still makes it difficult because normally you would have, back before Primaris, you would have your battle line units are just your standard Space Marines, and that's it. And it was very set. You'd have, I can't remember what the old structure was. It's still pretty much the same, but now you have so many different ways. So let's go through to the second and fifth companies. You have, so let's say the second company, battle line squads, close support squads, fire squads, and dreadnoughts. But now you've battle line squads when you would normally just have your normal Space Marines, firstborn Space Marine unit of tactical squads. Now you have access to tactical squads, intercessor squads, infiltrator squads, and heavy intercessor squads, which is a little strange. So there's so many things that you can pick from. And when you even look at fire support squads, aggressors, Centaurians, Devastator squads come up twice. Very weird. Eliminator squads, Eradicator squads, Hellblaster squads, Suppressor squads. So you have so much more choice. And again, how do you define what that structure of a chapter is? We know that in a company you'll have 10 units, but it's difficult when it was so much more established. A Devastator squad was a Devastator squad, but now you have so many more different types, like Eliminator squad, Hellblaster squad, Eradicator squad. They would still be traditionally classed as Devastator squads. So yeah, it's difficult. I do love that they've actually explained this a bit more, mostly because I've been trying to do research on how much does a Space Marine chapter cost in real world money. So when you want to buy an entire army, how much, basically an entire chapter, how much does that cost? This gives a little bit more context and how you can do it. Still, I mean, from a personal perspective, I want a bit more content. I want to see an entire chapter. Like, what do they do? What do they have? I want to know how many Eradicator squads they have. Who knows? Don't know. Who knows? I'm rambling already. We're already 8 minutes in and I've gone on tangents. So then we have a book on the chapter command. So it seems to be the chapter command is a new section of the army from a rules perspective. And we'll see that in a little bit. More things about different symbols. I want more banners in the book, and we do see a few different banners. So then about the first company, so you got the Stone Guard Vanguard veterans, and now the Blade Guard veterans, and a little bit about Terminator armor, and of course Storm Shields. Very nice. Then we have the Howling Griffins here, which look really cool with heraldry because let's be honest, the yellow and red, or yellow and orange look is very heraldic. I think that's the right word. Then we go into the battle companies, a little bit of info about them, not too much. I mean, they're pretty straightforward. And a different war zone, so Aberrus. I really love how they do this. Here's the map with some planets, here's some background, and then here's the Space Marines that have joined them. So you could be like, oh, do you want to recreate this entire battle? Here's what we need for all the entire zone. So it's cool. It's very nice. I do love that thing. And then they've got reserve companies. Very cool. Scout companies again. Sort of about the different companies. And then it goes into a bit more detail, which, if I recall correctly, I don't have my current, well, the last edition's codex out because it's all packed away at the moment. I don't think they went into this kind of detail with the Reclusium, with the chaplains. So I really love how they're starting to expand that information too. And the Apothecarian with the apothecaries, which is very cool. Librarius for the librarians. and Psychers and the Armory. So you start to go into Tech Marines and Masters of the Forge, the Servitors, and the different Dreadnoughts, and then into the different tanks. And again, some more cool little bits of art down there. Just little things like this just give me so many ideas. I'm like, oh, that's a cool little banner. It makes me want to do some Imperial Fists or some kind of successor chapter, or take those. That's a really cool design there of the little, probably not fleur-de-lis, but you know, I want to put that on a banner. It looks really cool. I love that little detail. There's still more on the Armory. And then a few other bits and pieces, things like that. Then we go to another war zone. Again, more about the squads, but also Black Templar heraldry. Very cool. You can just take that, use it for your other chapter. What I would love to see is just even half a page, just designs. Just like half a page of just throw up a whole bunch of these, what are they called, armpit shields. I'm sure they have another name, but I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I think that would be very, very cool. Okay, and now we get into a lot of the chapters. So I'm just going to have a bit of water while you just look at that. Little Ultramarine son of girly man. Yes, my throat's getting very dry already. Yeah, a little bit about each chapter, and then we get some of the successor chapters, which is very cool. And I just love this section. And we've got the Howling Griffins there, which I really do like. Yeah, lots of successor chapters, which is very nice. Imperial Fists, the Blood Angels, the White Scars, the Dark Angels, the Raven Guard, and Warzone Demnos. Again, some more different chapters, different markings, which is cool. Like I said, I just love little bits like that. Just doesn't necessarily mean anything. Just chuck it in there. I think it's cool. And different names of the different units for there. So you have like the Ultramarine Strike Force Travinius. We got Quintus, Axio, Asilian, Corello, and then Brother Gabinius for the Redemptor Dreadnought. You know, little lore things like that. They might have just picked out a whole bunch of names. I love it. It just, like I keep saying, it gives some context. It gives some background, a bit more meat to it, instead of just saying, oh yeah, the Iron Hounds, they just had a Land Raider spearhead with 3 Land Raiders. Boring. But instead, they got the Spear of Ironis, Canis Infernus, and the Bloodhound. You know, it gives much more context. I love it. Then you have the Space Wolves. Very cool chapter. Salamanders, they like to burn stuff. The Iron Hands, they don't like themselves. They just want to change themselves. And the Death Watch. This is cool. Some of the new banners for the Death Watch. I like it. And seeing these kind of things makes me actually want to, you know, go, oh, I'd love to have a little unit of those and have, you know, a little force, maybe a 1,000-point force, and paint up one of the banners just like that. It just sparks up a whole bunch of ideas in my mind. And we have some more successor chapters. So some you're familiar with, Black Templar, Crimson Fists, more traditional ones, and then we have like things like the Rift Stalkers, who have been referenced a lot for the Raven Guard. Oh yeah, like I said, I should have said that we've got Imperial Fist successors and Raven Guard successors, and they go through a few of the chapters. Like the Raptors, very cool. One of my favorite early on chapters. I remember seeing that in the 90s, unless they were a different name then, but seeing them, like, just love that color scheme. I thought that was really cool. So we've got some White Scar successors, some Iron Hand successors. The Dark Krakens is actually really cool. So black and like a very vibrant royal purple with the Kraken face. I think that's really cool. And then chapters with unknown foundings. Like ones we know of, like the Blood Ravens, the Fire Lords. What else have we got? Any new ones? No, these ones. Oh, the Tiger's Argent might be some new ones. But yeah, like the Carcadrons and the Minotaurs. So a lot of that we already know. A bit of lore. A bit more lore, story. And then we start to go into more the meat of the adornment of them. So, as usual, we've got all the different symbols for the battlefield role, the different company colours, the rankings for the helmets, of course, all Codex Astartes. I mean, it says it's Ultramarines Codex designation, but it is Codex Astartes type colours. That if you are a Codex compliant chapter, you would stick to these. But do what you want, people. Don't have to stick to the rules. You're your own army. more information. So we're starting to get a lot of pictures of models as well, which is very cool. Of course, generally all Primaris at the moment. This is what they do now. And again, starting to get different things for different chapters. So we've got the White Scars. I think that's the company. Yeah, so that's the company colors. Or, I don't know, whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Yeah, so for each of the different main chapters. So very cool. Even here, I love that. Let's just take those colors, the black and green, and we could just build a new chapter just going off those colors. I think that's really cool. And again, we've got some like ranks and honors here with some salamanders. Very nice. The new model for the Captain We Mastercrafted heavy bolt rifle. Finally, we get a new captain. Well, almost the second captain now. I don't think we had... Because we had one in Dark Imperium. We've got the new one with his friend on his shield, which is still just absolutely amazing. And now we have this one. And we also have rules for captain on bike. Primaris captain on bike. I want that. I think I'll just keep bash something myself. Something similar. The new Tech Marine, which is coming out this weekend, I believe. The new Primaris Chaplain, which was in the Indomitus box set, which I'm sure we'll be able to get separately at some point. Then we have the Blade Guard Veteran Heraldry. This is what I want. I want like a page of this. I can't say enough how I love these little things. Just, they don't have to mean anything because you can attach your own meaning to it yourself. You know, and I want more of that. Please, more, please. We got a big double spread of some Space Marines going at it against some Chaos Space Marines. We have the new ATV, the new Land Speeders or the Storm Speeders. Can't wait till they come out. Some new, the new, what are they called? The Valiants? Or maybe that's one of the variants, I can't remember. Yeah, okay, now we're getting into the rules. So, let's have a look here. So I'm going to bring this up. So you can see this section is the rules, this side. So, you know, almost half of it's rules. I always prefer the first half, because I love the background. So then we get into the Battleforge rules, so about the different detachment abilities, the chapter command, and the stratagems, then Warlord traits, relics, psychic powers, more stuff for the librarians in Phobos Lava. They get their own special thing. Litanies of battle for the chaplains, some more chapter approved rules for match play rules, and then Crusade rules. Super important bit there. That's probably the most interesting bit out of the rules. And we're going to data sheets, war gear points, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, the last half is pretty straightforward. So, I'm not going to go into the rules too much. I'm going to pick out a few different things, which is pretty cool. So, obviously, you get your chapter tactics. So, each of the founding Legion chapters and a few of the others, so things like the Crimson Fists, the Black Templars, Flesh Terrors, and Deathwatch, they all get basically 2 rules. So, for example, Dark Angels get Grim Resolve. So the 2 rules for there are each time a model with this tactic makes an attack, unless that model's unit has moved this turn, add 1 to the attack roll. And each time you have to do a combat attrition test, automatically pass. So, you know, kind of thematic, like with the Raven Guard, they're Shadow Masters. So each time a ranged attack is made against a unit with this tactic, if the attacker is more than 18 inches away, then the unit has blah, 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 rules. You know, it's going to fit to that chapter. You know, Blood Angels, Red Thirst. You can get 1 to advance rolls, and you get 1 to attacks wound roll if you've charged. So cool things like that. Then you can pick and choose 2. So if you do your own chapter, you can take 2. So I was going to randomly roll, but I put my dice away. So let's go Duelist, and let's pick another one. Oh, I'm just going to randomly pick that one. That's Stalwart. So with Duelist, each time a model with this tactic makes a melee attack against infantry or biker unit on an unmodified hit roll of 6, automatically wounds. Very cool. And then Stalwart, each time an attack is made against a unit with this tactic, an unmodified wound roll of 1 or 2 always fails, irrespective of any abilities that weapon attacker may have. So you can hit well, and you can wound well. Well, you can wound well, but at the same time, if you get attacked, they're gonna hit you less. So that works really well. They're very up in your face, very skilled unit where you would think it's similar to the I don't know what they would be similar to. Probably don't know. It's not quite Blood Angels, but whatever you choose, you get this idea of what they are. And for me, like the word duelist and stalwart, they seem very skilled in what they do. So they're probably very close combat orientated, getting in fast, and just being very skilled. So a lot of Blade Guard veterans, a lot of assault intercessors, like close range stuff. I think that's really cool. Whole bunch of different ones that you can choose. So you can build some very cool, interesting things. And we get to the new section of the chapter command, and I love this. I think it completely streamlines some things, and it makes me want to build some more elite things. Like, it makes me want to make a chapter master, simply because like we have rules specifically for a chapter master. So you take a captain and you upgrade it. So 2+ power and 40+ points to do that. Let's actually get the book in straight. So you actually get them for sort of all the important roles. So you've got the chapter master, the chaplain upgrades to a master of sanctity, tech marine upgrades to a master of the forge, librarian to chief librarian, apothecary to chief apothecary. It's a tough word to get out. Ancient to chapter ancient, and the company champion to a chapter champion. So you increase their points, but they get extra rules, which is pretty cool. Like with the chapter master, you get you can re-roll hit rolls. So in your command phase, you select one core unit, and remember, core is a new keyword. So specifically for like battle line units. So you can choose your chapter core or chapter character within 6 inches of this model. Until the start of the next command phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the hit roll, which is pretty cool. And also, the chapter master is excluded from the company command. This means the detachment can include both one chapter master and one other captain. So you can take the chapter master and a captain. I think that's pretty cool. And then you get access to specific warlord traits and relics. So that's pretty cool. And again, the same for the Master of Sanctity, which is a super powered heretic beating chaplain, probably with a what's that thing called? I don't know what they're called. The ones that he hits with, but it's called the Emperor's Judgment. Probably set on fire. Master of the Forge, Chief Librarian, Apothecary, Chapter Ancient, and Chapter Champion. I really love it. In previous editions, for example, I've never thought of taking like a Chapter Champion. Just haven't really considered it. But now there's rules for it, and it makes me go, I could get a model and completely kit bash one together and modify it and make it like super, super cool. And tying it in with the Crusade rules, I think that just makes more sense. Stratagems, I'm not going to go through them. If you want to have a read, pause the video and you can have a look. And I've just realized the microphone's been in the way the whole time. Or at least the shadow, so sorry about that. We'll fix that up one day. So a whole bunch of different stratagems, which is pretty cool. Again, more stratagems, so tons and tons of stratagems. Then we get into warlord traits. So your warlord can take a whole bunch of those traits. Again, pause the video if you want to have a look at them. I'm not going to go into too much detail. We do get ones for specific chapters. So for example, Dark Angels, they can take the Brilliant Strategist. So of course they need to be that chapter. Makes sense, you know. Anvil of Strength for the Salamanders. So Vulcan was renowned as the strongest of the Primarchs, and his genetic heritage lends his sons of Nocturne great physical might. So they get +2 of the strength characteristic, which is pretty good. So your warlord's going to be pretty beefy, which is very cool. And we go into relics. Again, this is sort of adding a lot of flavor and things like that. I really do like it. This kind of flavor. This is the kind of rules that I like, which is like, we have rules, but it's added some flavor to it. And a real narrative. So you've got the Shield Eternal. The Shield Eternal was a gift from Rogel Dawn to his seneschal during the dark days of the Horus Heresy. This magnificently worked storm shield is a bulwark against which all the wrath of the hateful galaxy can crash. Its warding powers turn aside the maleficent attentions of the witch and the demon, safeguarding its wearer from mortal blows. I love, just a couple of sentences. It gives you much more context. I love it. Then we go into the different disciplines for Psychus, so the Librarius and the Obscuration, which is the one with the Phobos armor, which is pretty cool. We got the Litanies of Battle for Chaplains. So there's a lot of chunky rules in this, like really are. You can really make your specific, not characters, but your elite units and like command models really cool and very unique and thematic. I really do like that. Then we got some different objectives and things like that for the game. Now, Crusade rules. I could spend ages talking about this, but I want to keep this video fairly short, so I may come back and specifically talk about these in another video, because the Crusade rules is a pretty beefy part of why I think the new codexes are really good. So you have a whole bunch of different agendas, specific things that you can build and match around. So, you know, I picked out this one before, recover gene seed. So you can say, you know, there's been a character that's fallen down, and you set up an objective, but it's not a real objective, it's just for this agenda. And if your apothecary gets there and rolls well, you get extra experience points and bonus requisition points. So you have an entire match around that. And that's what has been missing from the game previously. And it's definitely one of the massive improvements. For me, it's making me want to play because now I have attachment to these characters and these stories. So, for example, you could have a important character, not even a character, but an important unit or model. It could be, just say you have a chaplain and they've fallen in a battle. You could go with one of your other players and say, hey, I want to get my gene seed back from that chaplain because it's super important to us. And we've got basically a specific match because you want to stop the Space Marines from getting the gene seed. You know, I think that's really cool. But yeah, I don't want to go into this too much. We have all specific battle traits, which is very cool. So for different units, so machine spirit units, which is very cool. I really like that. The tech marine units, apothecary units, and then just general for the Adeptus Astartes units, excluding vehicles. And I thought there was some more. No, there's not. That goes into the sort of the machine. The vehicles would fall in machine spirit. We also have some honorifics, which is pretty cool. There's almost like some extra rules. Very nice. Very nice. It's just so much cool stuff. And then Crusade relics again. And you're going to find all this information in generally all codexes going forward. I haven't cracked open the Necron one yet, so I don't know exactly what's in there, but I imagine it's going to be pretty similar. And then just to look at some armies. And now we're going to go into the data sheets. Now this video is running long. You can find all the data sheets all over the place. There's tons and tons of data sheets. I mean, it's, you know, let's just look at the captains here. Primaris captain, captain with mastercrafted heavy bolt rifle, captain in Phobos armor, captain in Gravis armor, captain in Terminator armor, captain, just a straight captain, captain on black. You know, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different captains. So I'm not gonna have time for that. There's lots of lieutenants as well, like so many different lieutenants and different librarians, different chaplains. It's just, there's so much content, and I definitely encourage you, if you are a Space Marine player, to spend the time going through these because there's so much content. Like, oh my god, we got Intercessor Squad, Assault Intercessor Squad, the Heavy Intercessor Squad, my new boys. Oh, I'm so excited to get hold of those. You know, Infiltrator, Incurser, Tactical, you know, so many. Oh god, so it just keeps going through. So I'm not going to look at them. There's like the Blade Guard Veterans, which is very cool. You can get 6 in a unit. Very nice. And I only have 3, I think. Maybe I have more, I can't remember. So I've already packed everything away because we're moving very shortly. You know, like, I'm not going to bother going through. I know people like the rules. I'm not a rules person, so I'm going to skip through because, you know, pause the video if you want to have a look at any of the rules, but most of the rules are now available online if you know where to look. God, still more. Okay, we're getting through. All right, we got more. Gladiator, that's what they're called. That's right. So you got the Gladiator Lancer. These are the new tanks. Gladiator Lancer, the Reaper, and the Valiant. And the multiple different Land Raider Crusaders. Oh my god. Okay, we're getting there. So all the tanks, then we got some flyers. And then we have the new Hammerfall bunker. And that's kind of it. And then we have the more nitty-gritty bits of the rules, which somewhat come across in these a bit. So yeah, you got the rules like for the different weapons in there. But you do have a cheeky little list at the back, and then all the points, which is cool. So, you know, your captain, everything you need to add for the captain, you know, it's points. Like, you know, it's the chunky, gritty rules. And then a little glossary. And that's it. I mean, oh, I wasn't meant to show that. No, go for it. Someone gets that first. There you go. I should have covered that up. But yeah, I'm not going to use the app, so feel free to go crazy. Right, that's it. It's a really chunky book. Lot of detail, a lot of detail, and I'm happy I wasn't that salty about it. Quite happy about that. Yeah, that's it. So 30-minute review. If you do want to see some more in-depth things in the Crusade section, that's probably the only one I'd really look at. Maybe chapter tactics. But if you do want to see Crusade, let me know in the comments below, because it's one of the things that's drawn me into wanting to play. Because I'm not a player, I'm a collector of the models. And reader of books. And things like that. So that's it. I'm going to sign off for this video. But if you do like these kind of videos, please do subscribe. And click that little bell button so you can get notified about when I put new videos out. Yeah, that's it. It's very pretty. It's a very pretty book. Lots of cool art, lots of cool background, lots of chunky rules to get your head into and just dig in. So, alright, until next time, thank you for watching, and I will see you later.